Welcome, folks. Thanks for joining me today. Do appreciate it a lot. Just a few days ago, I was kind of scouring the interwebs and got a little curious. Now, there's a frequency bandwidth that I don't normally mess with, and it's like in the 250, 260 megahertz range, and that's kind of where the military sits. Now, you're not supposed to transmit on that, but there's nothing that says you can't listen to it. So I thought, I'm gonna give that a try. I'm just gonna kind of listen in. I put the disc cone up, which is up, and I plugged in the disc cone to my SDR, and then I started kind of scanning through the SDR, and I noticed, well, here, come down here, let me show you a couple of things. See all those lines down there? All this kind of down in here, a lot of activity. And let's see if I can scan over here. See, look at all that stuff. Just stuff. And I don't know what's going on over there, but it's a lot of signal. And I have my handy dandy FM commercial FM trap turned on, so I know it's not a preponderance of that, but there's a lot of stuff going around the 260, 261. And then I started moving a little further down, and right around this range in here, which is what, 260 even, I noticed these little bands, and I don't know what that is. And then well, here, let me turn on some audio. Let's see if we can hear something. Let's go right there. 265. 260.582. And then all of a sudden there's this. And then I hear something. I hear people talking. And then I do a little more browsing around the interwebs. And because I'm thinking, could this be military people talking to each other?
421 to 424. Ground commander's call sign deadbeat 16.
That's kind of interesting. You would think that it would be encrypted somehow. You don't want to give away secretive information if you're communicating with your Blackhawks or something like that, I would imagine.
No classified information.
And then I realized, after doing a little bit of research, those are pirates.
Arr.
So SATCOM are some geosynchronous satellites that are around the globe, and we have one that kind of sits over the equator-ish. If I find a good picture of it, I'll throw a picture up here, and it sits there right around the equator over the Western Hemisphere. And further deep diving, those are Brazilian pirates. They like to use SATCOM because it's available to anybody. And here in the United States, if we use it and they triangulate, you get in trouble. More than a fine. You're on the military thing, and you shouldn't do that. So I don't do that. I don't transmit on it. But the folks down in Brazil, they discovered this thing, and it's basically an uplink and then a downlink, and they use it as their repeater, kind of like how we use ISS as a repeater when ISS flies overhead. Which reminds me, I think ISS is scheduled, come on now, scheduled to, too many buttons to push. Oh, yeah, ISS is about to, I'm going to switch. I'm going to ISS, and we're going to listen to ISS. Give me a second.
Uniform November Kilo, Echo Mike 10.
Yeah, that's always fun. All right, let's go back to 600. Well, let's see if we can catch one of those pirates. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, they're speaking Brazilian Portuguese. They're using it kind of like CB radio. Yeah, you know, I get kind of tired of hearing that hash noise. It drives me crazy. Now that's 27 megahertz, which is the CB band. Guys talking on it. That's okay for us to talk on to. Here's an interesting graphic. You know, there's over 15,000 pieces of space junk, satellites, etc., that's floating around out there, and something's bound to crash into something sooner or later, I would imagine, but that's a lot of stuff. You know what? I might try this on a web SDR and see what I get, especially if I can find something closer to the source.
"12 seconds later."
Okay, that's really coming down. Coming in sideways, as they say. Now the power went out and everything. Gotta wait till this passes before I go on. Okay, that's not a pond back there. Well, I guess it is now. Well, a quick web search shows me that there aren't very many web SDRs that will actually receive frequencies in the 260-ish range. Look what I found. Well, I guess there's at least one out there. And then another thing I found out is originally Satcom 7 was over the equator-esque kind of thing in the Western Hemisphere, but for some reason is now located over Indonesia. So I find that kind of interesting. So I'm listening to a satellite that's repeating a signal that's over the Philippines or Indonesia somewhere. So I find it very interesting. If you have any more information about it, if you're kind of into the radio stuff, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you know. And if I find out more, I will do another one of these. And I guess I'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.